Welcome to English Avenue, USA. Today we bring you the powerful story of Saddam Hussein, a man who ruled Iraq with fear, fought wars that shook the Middle East, and finally fell in a dramatic U.S. invasion. From a troubled childhood to one of history's most feared dictators, this is the story of ambition, brutality, and downfall. Let's begin. 1. Early life and influences, 1937 to 1959. Saddam Hussein was born on April 28, 1937, in a small village near Tikrit, northern Iraq. His father died before he was born, and his mother, deeply affected, left him with relatives while she remarried. Raised by a strict uncle in Baghdad, Saddam grew up harshly, bullied by children, learning early that to survive meant to master your own strengths. By age 19, he joined the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party, drawn to its message of Arab unity and freedom from Western control. In 1959, he took part in a failed assassination attempt on Prime Minister Qasim. He was wounded and fled to Syria and then to Egypt. In Cairo, he studied law briefly and deepened his political beliefs through pan-Arab nationalism. This exile shaped him, forging deep anger, ambition, and a burning desire for power. He returned to Iraq in 1963 after a Ba'ath coup, was imprisoned, but soon rose as a powerful organizer and enforcer within the party. Second seizure of power, 1963 to 1979. In July 1968, the Ba'athists staged another coup. President Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr took power, with Saddam as vice president and head of internal security. By 1972, Saddam led the nationalization of the Iraqi oil industry. Those revenues funded highways, schools, and hospitals, earning him some public support. In July 1979, al-Bakr abruptly resigned. Saddam became president and immediately kicked off a massive purge. He accused dozens of his own party members of plotting against him. In a chilling televised event, they confessed on stage, then were executed. This brutal act set the tone for Saddam's rule, total control by terrifying force. He built a personality cult. He likened himself to Saladin and Nebuchadnezzar, plastered his image all over the country, and established a rule where fear was weaponized and loyalty demanded. Third, Iran. Iraq War, 1980 to 1988. In September 1980, Saddam launched a full-scale invasion of Iran, driven by territorial disputes over the Shatt al-Arab waterway and fear of the Islamic Revolution spreading. This war dragged on for 8 brutal years and claimed well over 1 million lives. Saddam had mistakenly believed he could win quickly, but instead was mired in trench warfare, chemical weapon use, and massive casualties. Iraq's use of chemical weapons became internationally infamous. In 1983, Saddam's forces unleashed mustard and nerve gas on Iranian troops and Kurdish civilians in Halabja in 1988, killing thousands. He also pursued nuclear capabilities in secret. In 1981, Israel bombed Iraq's Osirak reactor, fearing Saddam's nuclear ambitions. By 1988, both sides were exhausted. A ceasefire was agreed, but Saddam emerged militarily scarred, with massive debts and no victory. Fourth, Kuwait invasion in the Gulf War, 1988 to 1991. Saddam returned to Iraq battered and deeply indebted to Gulf states. He accused Kuwait of slant drilling Iraqi oil and undermining OPEC quotas. On August 2, 1990, Iraqi forces invaded Kuwait and Saddam proclaimed it part of Iraq. The U.S.-led coalition responded and quickly liberated Kuwait during Operation Desert Storm in early 1991. As coalition forces withdrew, uprisings began. Shia in the south and Kurds in the north revolted, but Saddam's forces crushed these rebellions with overwhelming force. Iraq then faced harsh international sanctions and strict weapons inspections. Saddam clung to control by continuing purges and maintaining a brutal police state. Fifth reign under sanctions, 1991 to 2003. Sanctions wrecked Iraq's economy. Oil revenue plunged from $66 billion to $10 billion per year, and per capita income crashed from approximately $3,500 to under $500. Despite crushing economic hardship, Saddam invested in public works, hospitals, schools, roads, promoting his ideology known as Saddamism. Meanwhile, he used extreme tactics to remain in power: chemical attacks on Kurdish villages, executions of Shia opponents, and notably the Dujail massacre, where 148 Shia Muslims were killed for a failed assassination attempt. He also groomed his sons, Uday and Qusay, for succession. Uday became notorious for his brutality and excess. Behind the throne, Saddam even fostered an image as a writer. CIA tapes later revealed he was drafting novels. Some argue it distracted him from governing. 6. U.S. invasion and downfall, 2003. By 2002, the United States accused Saddam of harboring weapons of mass destruction, a WMD, and links to al-Qaeda. On March 17, 2003, the U.S. issued an ultimatum. Saddam and family must leave Iraq within 48 hours. He refused. The invasion began on March 20, 2003, as coalition forces swept into Iraq. Baghdad fell on April 9th, with scenes of jubilant Iraqis toppling statues of Saddam, symbolizing his fall. Saddam fled into hiding. On July 22nd, Uday and Qusay were killed by U.S. troops in Mosul. Finally, on December 13, 2003, Saddam was found in a hole outside Tikrit in Operation Red Dawn and captured by U.S. forces. 7. Trial, Execution, and Legacy, 2004 to 2006. In 2004, Saddam faced trial for the Dujail massacre and other atrocities. On November 5, 2006, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. He was executed by hanging on December 30, 2006. His death lit deep divisions. Shia rejoiced, Sunni mourned. Iraq would enter a spiral of sectarian violence and instability that followed. To historians, his legacy is mixed. Some acknowledge modernization, free healthcare, and education, but the cost in brutality, genocide, and human rights abuses overshadow all benefits. 8. Lessons and global impact. 1. Dictatorship. Failures, concentrated power, and fear may control a nation, but also sow the seeds of collapse. 2. Faulty intelligence can backfire. The flawed WMD claims that justified the 2003 invasion, damaged U.S. credibility, and unleashed chaos. Third sectarian divide. His divide and rule policies intensified Sunni-Shia rifts, fueling post-2003 violence. 4. War's human cost. Over 500,000 civilians died in Iraqi conflicts between 2003 to 2011, twice the toll of combatants. 5. Unintended consequences. Saddam's fall helped pave the way for ISIS, regional instability in Syria, and long-term global insecurity. His life illustrates how personal ambition, ideology, and disregard for humanity can alter the world, and why collective safeguards against tyranny matter. Saddam's empire rose on violence and fear, and collapsed the same way. His story reminds us. No matter how strong a dictator seems, power built on blood never lasts. After his fall, Iraq entered years of chaos, but history left us a lesson. Tyranny always ends, often painfully. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, hit like, share, and subscribe to English Avenue USA for more powerful true stories.